Hello, and thank you for attending our online presentation of how to sell your home. I'm Joey Kearns, and my business partner Lou Chain is here with us.
Great.
We make up the Hearth team at Keller Williams Realty Professionals, and Lou and I are available if you or anyone you know are thinking about buying or selling a home in Oregon or Washington. So here's a little bit about me. I worked for nonprofits for 12 years before I became a real estate agent, and that's because I had a passion for my community and for helping people, and now I get to employ that same passion when helping clients buy and sell real estate. Lou, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Yeah, I spent most of my career in customer service in one way or another, and spent some time working in the film industry, worked for a publishing company for a while. And the through line seems to be that I have a passion for helping people achieve a goal, which has served me well as a realtor.
Great, thanks, Lou. Okay, we're going to switch over to the PowerPoint and get to it. All right, that's us. Let's talk about the local market statistics. Right now we have low inventory. Let's take a moment and look at this chart. The black line in the number of active listings is from 2018. The gray is 2019. Then if you look at this red line, you can see that there are much fewer listings in 2020. Due to interest rates being under 3% right now, the number of buyers has not decreased a lot in comparison to other years. That means that there is still high demand for homes, but much less supply, which causes some major competition. So what is that doing to values? Monthly median home sale prices are still continuing to rise. And you'll see that there was a slight lull in values in April and May of this year, which was right when COVID was coming around and people were adjusting to a new world. Then values started to rise again. Here's a graph of trends over the past 18 years. Assuming that interest rates don't suddenly start dramatically increasing, I don't foresee a major change in rising values other than normal seasonality adjustments. And values tend to level off after summer and past the holidays. Pricing strategies. Lou, you're up.
All right. So when we as realtors do a comparative market analysis of your home, we look at comps to your house based on location, square footage, and price, among other things. We use all of our tools to analyze the current market and determine a range of what the house will likely sell for. Ultimately, the home is worth what a buyer is willing to pay and what a seller is willing to accept. We also consider bracket pricing when we determine a list price. So most buyers look at brackets of 25,000. So we usually price under a bracket. For example, we might price a home at 425 instead of 426 because we want people who cut off their search at 425,000 to see your home. So once we determine a price range, there are a couple of things to consider. If you look at this chart, it illustrates that if you're priced right at market value, you'll get a fair amount of buyers looking at your home. However, if you price on the low end of market, the percentage of eyes on the house jumps up quite a bit. We don't advise pricing way under market as a tactic to get multiple offers because firstly, we believe it's unethical. But this tactic also could backfire. If, for example, only one offer comes through and it's a full price offer, but your home is priced well under market, you'll be in a position to accept an offer you're not really happy with. We do tend to advise pricing on the low side of market value because it will bring more attention to your property and you have a better chance of receiving one or more offers quickly. So on the other side of the equation, if you start off pricing your home too high, fewer people will see the home, of course, and you may end up chasing the market downhill, making price reductions along the way. When a home starts off too high and sits on the market for longer than average, people start to wonder why the house is not selling and if there's an issue with the home. That can, of course, be detrimental to a sale, and it can also be difficult to recover from. It could also create an issue when it comes time to appraise the home. If the appraisal comes back low, you may have to renegotiate price with the buyer. All right, so we're going to talk about preparing your home for a sale. Um, this is a nice little chart that shows you a few different strategies for preparing your home for sale. Option one, decluttering the home. This may include renting a pod or a storage unit to clear the home of clutter. Patching and painting, anything you can do to improve the walls and floors is usually not going to break the bank, but it is going to make a big improvement on the property. Having the property professionally cleaned and landscaped to make a great first impression. Changing burnout light bulbs, furnace filters, replacing smoke detectors. These are small things, but they matter, and they often come up in repair addendums if ignored during prep. Fixing plumbing leaks, and yes, as I mentioned, refinishing floors and painting the front door can be a big wow factor for buyers. And as you can see in option two, if you're pressed for time or money, this is a less aggressive prep strategy. And then option three is, of course, doing nothing and adjusting the price of the home accordingly. Okay, staging a home. I won't get too bogged down on this topic, but I will say generally we highly recommend staging. A staged home sells faster and for more money than an unstaged home. The National Association of Realtors found that your return on investment for staging is somewhere between 3 and 7%. Staged photos look great and they bring more attention to the property online, which is where 90% of buyers find homes in first search. Yeah, there are circumstances where we would not recommend staging. For example, if a home is a major fixer or tear down, we would not recommend staging in that circumstance. But in most other cases, we do find staging to be well worth the cost.
Right, tools. So what are some of the tools that we have available? One tool we offer to all of our past clients and anyone curious about their home value is something called HomeBot. Lou and I happen to use it for our own homes. In fact, HomeBot tracks the equity in your home on a monthly basis in that it automatically pairs the balance of your loan and deducts that from the estimated value of your home. It's actually pretty accurate. Here, I'll show you a home value. You can see on this example that there was a big upswing in value in April on this home. On the left, you can see the current mortgage information and the estimated equity in the home. And there's actually there's a lot more functionality in this tool, but for today's presentation, I'm going to just stick to the basics. Before you decide to list with us, we'll provide you with an estimated seller net sheet that will have all the fees, expenses, and balance payoffs, so you'll have a pretty good idea of how much you'll profit when you sell. Then, when you're ready to sell and you list with us, we provide 3D tours that allow buyers to tour your home without ever having to leave their own home. This has become especially popular during the pandemic as we try to limit the number of in-person showings to homes. We also hire a professional photographer to take light and bright photos of your listing to showcase your home. Of course, we have a full marketing strategy that we tailor to each listing and fit the needs of each individual seller too. COVID-19 precautions used while selling. So in addition to limiting showings via 3D tours and professional photos, we also require that all agents who schedule showings of your home to ensure that everyone sanitizes their hands before entering and that everyone wear a mask. Buyers are also not allowed to touch surfaces. If you feel comfortable with us hosting open houses, we do not allow more than 2 people into an open house at a time. And again, every person must sanitize their hands first and wear a mask. We can even offer to do virtual open houses in lieu of an in-person open house if a seller prefers. If a seller is not satisfied with this process and still concerned about COVID-19, we can instead require that an offer be submitted contingent upon interior inspection. This means that they need to have an accepted offer before they can view the home. So speaking of an accepted offer, I want to briefly go over what you can expect in the buyer's process. And if you own a home, I know you may already be familiar with the process, but I bet you still need a little overview. The buyer will have 10 business days to perform an inspection. This means that you will need to vacate the home during the inspection. A buyer can terminate the transaction if there are major issues revealed in the inspection. However, sometimes they will request repairs be made instead. So be prepared to do at least some repairs and factor those costs into your net. If the buyer is getting financing, the buyer will also be required by their bank to get an appraisal. The appraiser will make an assessment of the condition of the home and the value. If the value is low, we may need to renegotiate some things. Also, depending on the type of loan, some appraisers may be a little picky on certain conditions of the home. FHA and VA are pretty picky. Although Lou and I aren't appraisers, we do know many of the items that an FHA or VA appraiser will call out, and we can help you address those items before listing so you can avoid most issues when under contract. So this whole process, once you get an accepted offer, takes about 30 days to close if the buyer is financed. VA is going to take a little bit longer. How to manage buying while selling. So selling means that you're probably also wanting to purchase. So how do we tackle that? First up, the higher the price of homes, the less competition there will be. So if you're upgrading to a more expensive home, then you will probably be facing less competition for the home you want than the buyers purchasing your current home. You'll also probably have a pretty good down payment because you'll likely be getting some net proceeds from your sale. That will put you at an advantage over some other buyers. Rentbacks are also an option. When accepting an offer on the sale of your current home, we can ensure that there is what's called a rentback in the offer. This means that you will be able to sell your current home, get those proceeds for the purchase of your new home, and reside in your current home for a specified period of time after closing. So in other words, you will be renting back your current home from the buyers, which will give you time to move to your new home. And the timing of your purchase is important, though. To avoid a contingent offer on the purchase of your new home, it is best to make an offer on a new home once you have an accepted offer on your current home. So list first, accept an offer on your current home, then make an offer on your new home. I know we've covered a lot of information today. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to either Lou or me, and we would be happy to answer your questions or to do a one-on-one meeting with you to help you create a tailored plan. Check out our website at thehearthteam.com or visit our The Hearth Team Facebook page. We look forward to listing your home and helping you buy the next. Thanks very much.
Bye-bye.